In America, McDonald's looks untouchable, but in the shadow of that giant, something strange is happening. In cities like New York, Los Angeles, Houston, and Orlando, another logo is quietly stealing the spotlight: a smiling red bee from the Philippines. Outside its doors, you see something McDonald's hasn't seen in years: lines wrapped around the block, families driving for hours, people waiting 2 or 3 hours just for fried chicken and bright red spaghetti. This isn't a tourist craze. Behind that mascot is a $4.8 billion Filipino food empire that has already crushed McDonald's in the Philippines and is now doing the unthinkable in America, convincing loyal McDonald's customers to cheat on their favorite burger chain. To see how that happened, you have to go back to a tiny ice cream shop in the 1970s Manila. The story doesn't start with burgers and fries, it starts with scoops of Magnolia ice cream in a small parlor in Manila. In the 1970s, a young entrepreneur named Tony Tan opened a modest shop and hoped it would pay the bills. Then he noticed something. Customers weren't just coming in for dessert, they were asking for hot food. So he tried a small experiment: add hamburgers, fried chicken, and spaghetti to the menu. The hot meals quickly outsold the ice cream that was supposed to be the star. Tony realized he wasn't in the ice cream business anymore, he was in the fast food business. In 1978, he gave this new direction a name: Jollibee. The mascot, a cheerful red bee, stood for hard work and togetherness, just like Filipino families. The brand wasn't built around cheap speed, it was built around food that tasted like home. That simple idea would soon be tested against the biggest fast food giant in the world. In the 1980s, McDonald's entered the Philippines. How could a small local chain go up against a global powerhouse with decades of experience and billions in marketing? Jollibee looked like a warm-up act before the real show. But instead of copying McDonald's, Jollibee did the opposite. While other brands tried to imitate the Big Mac formula, Jollibee doubled down on Filipino tastes. The spaghetti sauce was sweet, topped with hot dog slices and cheese. The fried chicken came with rice and gravy. Burger steak sat under rich brown sauce. It wasn't American food with a twist, it was Filipino comfort food served fast. Filipinos noticed. McDonald's felt foreign. Jollibee felt like family. By the 1990s, Jollibee had far more stores in the Philippines than McDonald's and became the country's #1 fast food chain. It didn't win by being bigger, it won by being more local. Jollibee had already beaten McDonald's at home. The next question was obvious. Could it take that same playbook into McDonald's backyard? In 1998, Jollibee opened its first U.S. restaurant in Daly City, California, sometimes called the Pinoy capital of America because of its big Filipino community. Most Americans walking past had never heard of Jollibee. The menu looked strange: fried chicken with rice and gravy, bright red sweet spaghetti, peach mango pie, and around the corner, there was always a familiar McDonald's. But Jollibee wasn't relying on random foot traffic. Its real advantage was the Filipino diaspora. For millions who had left home, Jollibee was more than fast food. It was a piece of the Philippines. Families drove hours just to eat there. Weekends meant lines curling around the block. Inside, people weren't just ordering meals, they were reliving Sunday lunches, birthday parties, and childhood memories from back home. Then something unexpected happened. Non-Filipinos started joining the line. At first, they just wanted to know why people were waiting so long. Then they tasted the food, especially the fried chicken called Chicken Joy, and a lot of them came back. Jollibee was no longer just that Filipino place, it had become a destination. And once that model worked in Daly City, the bee started flying into bigger, tougher American cities.
On paper, Jollibee should lose every matchup. McDonald's has tens of thousands of stores, a massive marketing budget, and decades of habit on its side. But customers don't eat market share charts. They eat what tastes good and what makes them feel something. McDonald's has the Big Mac. Jollibee has Chicken Joy, fried chicken that fans describe as extra crispy outside, juicy inside, and packed with flavor. Food critics compare it to some of the best fried chicken in America. Then there's Jolly Spaghetti. To an Italian chef, it might look wrong. The sauce is bright red, sweet, and topped with hot dogs and cheese. But that's why people remember it. It's not pretending to be Italian, it's proudly Filipino. Taste is only half the story. The other half is emotion. For Filipinos abroad, stepping into Jollibee feels like a quick trip back home. For Americans trying it for the first time, it feels new and different from every other chain. McDonald's is everywhere, which makes it predictable. Jollibee is rare, which makes it feel special. Once the company saw how powerful that mix was, it pushed even harder. After proving it could create massive lines with each new U.S. opening, Jollibee decided it didn't want to stay a niche chain. It wanted a permanent seat at the American fast food table. So its parent company, Jollibee Foods Corporation, started buying brands Americans already knew. In 2018, it took control of Smashburger, instantly getting a footprint in the American burger market. A year later, it's been hundreds of millions of dollars to buy the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. These deals weren't just about selling more burgers or lattes. They were about learning the U.S. market from the inside: locations, labor, supply chains, and customer habits. At the same time, Jollibee restaurants kept opening in more cities. Each launch looked less like a quiet store opening and more like a concert. In some places, fans camped overnight. In others, lines grew so long that police had to manage the crowd. Every time a new Jollibee opened, social media lit up with taste tests and reaction videos. It wasn't just another option. And with every new city, the question grew louder: how far could this bee really go? For all the buzz, the numbers still look uneven. McDonald's has more than 13,000 locations in the United States. Jollibee has around 70, with plans to triple that number. McDonald's spends more on advertising in a week than Jollibee can in a year. Operating in America is tougher too. Costs are higher, rules are stricter. What works smoothly in Manila doesn't automatically work in Manhattan. And Jollibee has to walk a fine line, stay true to its Filipino roots while winning over people who have never eaten sweet spaghetti or rice with gravy. To someone new, the menu can look confusing: red spaghetti sauce with hot dogs, chicken with rice instead of fries. It's easy to hesitate if you haven't tasted it yet. Jollibee has to educate and attract customers without watering down what made it special. So can a bee really destroy a giant like McDonald's? If you only count store numbers and revenue, McDonald's is still in a different universe. But if you measure something less visible, attention, loyalty, and cultural impact, the story starts to look different. In the Philippines, Jollibee already did the unthinkable. McDonald's entered the market with global power and a proven playbook. Jollibee beat it anyway. Families chose Chicken Joy over Big Macs. Kids begged for birthday parties with the red bee, not the clown. Jollibee didn't just win customers, it became part of the culture. In America, the pattern is starting to repeat. Every new Jollibee opening draws lines that McDonald's hasn't seen in decades. Social media fills with first-time reactions to Jolie Spaghetti and Peach Mango Pie. Food critics, bloggers, and everyday customers talk about this bright, joyful chain from Manila. McDonald's is still massive, rich, and everywhere. Jollibee may never match its size, but maybe that's not what destroying McDonald's really means. Maybe it means stealing something more important than store count: the spotlight. Because today, when people talk about the most exciting fast food story in America, they're not talking about a new McDonald's burger. They're talking about a red bee from the Philippines that proved even the biggest giant can be stung.